Well, I was born in Austin, Texas in the early 1960s, 1963. In fact, 6, 7 months before John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So, when I'm 100 years old, I might be one of the only people on the earth that was here when he was actually alive. And I don't remember that, but I remember growing up in this sort of conservative, religious situation. I had 2 older brothers. My dad had gone to the University of Texas in 1957, and that was Darrell Royal's first year as the head coach of the football team at the University of Texas. And both of my parents were from a small town called Florence, Texas, north of Austin. And so after a couple of years and 11 concussions, my dad stopped playing football and had 3 sons. And I was the last of those 3. My parents had my younger brother Jeff and Jennifer later in the mid-70s, but I sort of grew up as the youngest of 3 boys, and that really formed my childhood. And I got picked on a lot, and it was just a rough time. I had to learn how to defend myself and really get tough around my 2 older brothers. So I just remember Malcolm X, who's just one of my heroes. I just love Malcolm X, but I remember him being assassinated in 1964. I remember MLK being assassinated, and I think like 67. I remember Robert Kennedy being assassinated in 68. I remember Governor Wallace being shot. And so I remember watching the Vietnam War on television at night, not knowing what was going on. So I must say, when I was growing up, I was alive when the shooter killed people out of the tower at the University of Texas. And that was a big deal. Every time we drove down the highway and we saw the UT Tower, I would think about that. And those things really had an impact on my life and on my childhood. Now, because we were in this conservative religion, we looked at so-called hippies or radical left. I looked at all of those people differently than I looked at them now, because I was just a product of the times. And so all of those things were happening in my childhood, and for some, obviously because of my parents, we were all conservative, and I sort of saw the world through that lens. But ultimately, my parents moved us all to Eagle River, Alaska in 1974. I was 11 years old, and I didn't want to go. But we moved. We moved to Eagle River, Alaska, and I went to Chugiak High School. I graduated from Chugiak in 1981. And that changed all of our lives. Everything was different when we moved up there. And it was still difficult to be in Alaska in the 70s. I mean, I got picked on a lot in school. And I went to high school. The 7th graders were with the senior high school. So in 7th grade, you might be 13 years old, and they're 17 and 18-year-old seniors, picking on the little kids. So that formed me more than anything. And I would probably say that one of the proudest things in my whole life is that by the time our class graduated in 1981, we made it unpopular to pick on little kids. In fact, we would protect the little kids. We didn't allow bullying. And this was back before anti-bullying was popular. But because I became a leader in the school, and I wrestled and played football and things like that. In fact, I was a student body president. When I became a leader in the high school, there was no bullying. I didn't allow anybody to bully any of the little kids. And so that sort of formed my whole, not just childhood, but my adulthood and on into my professional life. I don't like bullies. I don't like bigger people picking on littler people.